Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining our webinar. My name is Scott Goby. I'm a marketing coordinator here at Telguard. Today, we're going to discuss addressing the financial questions of technology sunsets presented by Mrs. Melody Putman, our Director of Sales in North America. Melody has 25 years of experience in the cellular technology industry and has supported customers through the 2G sunset, the analog sunset before that, and picked up some tips along the way that she'd like to share with you guys, just for addressing that financial question for the sunsets with your customers. If you have any questions along the way, there's a question section of our webinar platform. If you'll type the questions in there, we will address them at the end of the presentation. If you have a question you'd like to speak directly to Mel, there's a raise hand feature also in the webinar platform. Just raise your hand, and we'll unmute you so you can ask your question in person. So without further ado, I will pass it over to our presenter, Mrs. Melody Putman.
Thank you, Scott. I really appreciate that. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Telguard's webinar for addressing the financial questions to the technology sunsets. We're really glad you chose to spend some time with us today, and we really hope that you will take away something of value in our message. Listen, we understand how challenging these transitions can prove in the best of times, and we want to offer any support we can within our means to assist, especially right now during such unusual times. So one of the things we hope you'll find encouraging is the fact that we are seeing many dealer partners successfully using this time right now to move forward with upgrading radios. We've seen the numbers growing particularly over the last 2 to 3 months, and we see that trend certainly moving in the right direction. So it's a really positive message. So let's get started. There are several schools of thought on how to successfully navigate and accomplish the sunset. Our message today isn't meant to tell anyone how to run their business, but we want to offer suggestions to you as to approaches that might be helpful. The hesitation we hear from dealers most revolve more around how to take those first steps in communicating with your customers about what is happening and why. Where do you begin presenting the message to your customers, and how do you entice them to act quickly? Our support in this area has been to arm you with as much necessary information without inundating you with so much information that it makes it more difficult for you to navigate. Several months ago, something we did, Telguard dedicated an area of our website to providing you with information for understanding the impact of the sunset on your business. And we didn't stop there. We also provided you with information you can use in approaching your customers to help them understand the need for the technology shift. There are links and contact information, additional support. All of that's going to be provided at the end of the webinar, so that will be made available to you. Our recommendation is to utilize a tiered approach in communicating with your customers. First things first, though, don't be shy about communicating with your customers. You may or may not be surprised at the number of dealers. We talk to dealers on a daily basis who live at a little bit of fear of communicating with their customers. Keeping that line of transparent, honest, open communication with your customers is so important to the success of your business, and especially right now when you've got something like this task at hand, the transition for the sunset. It's just really important to make sure that you're communicating. We hear phrases like, "You don't know how it is," and "they'll cancel if we try to sell them something else." That's common. If that's the way you feel, just know that you're not alone in that. Listening to you made us see that we needed to be more informed about being in your shoes. So we began asking questions. We went to other dealers who we can see have been successful in achieving not only the majority of their upgrades in advance of the sunset, not necessarily this sunset. It's not that there are dealers that are that far advanced with this sunset, but previous sunsets. But they were not just successful in getting them to make the transition, but they had their customers participate, at least in part, in the financial aspect of transitioning to the newer technology. So our message is, don't take on the financial burden alone. The first approach should be to sell to your customers. We all, you, Telguard, your customers, we all have a shared interest in transitioning these accounts to the new technology in order to keep the system communicating properly. Therefore, we all need to participate in the responsibility financially and scheduling to make it happen. We know both of those things can be challenging, the financial side and the scheduling side. We just all need, we're all on the same team here, and we all want to make it happen. Now is the time. Now this part, the very first part to implement now, it's not really part of the tiered approach. It's more of common sense, but it's certainly part of the successful plan for the transition. You need to plan the upgrade for 2G, that's for Canada, 3G or CDMA radios as part of your service calls. Service calls are part of your day-to-day business. We know that scheduling service can change at a moment's notice. So while we won't try to schedule your service calls, we do highly recommend that upgrading the cellular device should be part of the conversation and the process. When scheduling, it's simple enough to check to see if the cellular radio attached to the account, if it's a Telguard, you can check to see if it's an LTE device or if it's a device that needs to be upgraded. Those tools are on our web portal, and we'll see a little bit more about that later, but you can check to see if it's something that needs to be upgraded. At that time, you can inform your customer it's a good time to upgrade the radio and inform them that there's a cost savings to do it while you're on site at a service call. Take advantage of the service call to save you and your customer time and money. So we want to make sure we're seizing the opportunity for the customer upgrade at that point in time. If during the scheduling of the account, the device wasn't checked to see if it's an LTE device, it should be part of the process for your technician to check for a cellular communicator while they're on site. Now, they can also call into your office. The admin for your Telguard account can certainly look to see if it's an LTE device or a device that needs to be upgraded. But another option is also to reach out to us. We're more than happy to check that. You can call into our customer service team and you can ask them to look it up. Just need to provide that serial number. They'll enter it and they can let you know if it's a radio that needs to be upgraded. Keeping a radio on the truck is the best practice for this scenario. Some of the best salespeople that you have out there are your technicians. They communicate with your customers while they're on site. Customers tend to trust them. So having that as part of the process is something that we really encourage you to do. Again, seizing the opportunity for the upgrade of your customer's device while you're on site. So now we'll move into the tiered approach. With the tiered approach, education is key. I know you've heard that before. You've heard it before because it is absolutely true. And reaching out to your customers with a simple to digest message is our #1 recommendation. Something that not only makes sense, but get your customer on board with agreeing to the decision. This step isn't unlike when you initially sold the system to a customer or your services in the first place. We want to use direct communication. Even if you're using a mass notification, it needs to appear that it's personalized in order to grab the attention of the reader. In this particular webinar, we're recommending a tiered approach that provides incentives to your customer based on the timing of their decision to say yes. That's important. It's the part where they're saying yes to the upgrade. As we're encouraging you to keep the message simple, we want to keep our message simple as well. The process is a multi-step or tiered approach. However, it's basically repeating the same thing just over a period of time throughout the sunset. The goal is to achieve the most and the most positive responses from your customer as possible. Now, keeping it simple by no means indicates that this process is easy. We know that. We know that you've probably been through these before. We've been through these before, and we do understand that even though we've been through these before, Upgrading this time to the newer technology is likely to prove maybe even a little bit more time consuming because there are even more devices that are using cellular as their only solution for the alarm transmission this time around. Creating time to communicate with customers, scheduling, and having the resources to physically complete the upgrade are all part of the process. And they all take time and resources that we know are typically meant for your day-to-day operations. So we absolutely understand that. It's all part of the process. It's something that you just have to work into your processes today. This is why starting early and making the most of digital communication plays such a role in connecting with your customers. Organizing your outreach into tiers creates urgency to upgrade with financial incentives. The recommended multi-tier approach begins with assembling the initial message to your customer, whether commercial, residential, a direct approach. You've heard me mention it before, that direct approach is best. That is, the information should go directly to someone who is responsible for making the decisions for the system. We recommend you reach out to your customers with a special offer, and that's going to be upgrading their system to the latest cellular technology. Explain that, sometimes they want to understand, why am I having to do this? And you'll explain to them that just like with cell phones, the cellular device, it's a critical device that's associated with the system, requires an upgrade to LTE technology because the current technology is being sunset or phased out by the carriers. The good news with this particular service call or with this particular device, it's an affordable transition for them. Think of the tiered communication as just a series of limited offers that are going to be spread out over a period of time. Reward customers who act quickly, set the time frame with an expiration, and then that way it gives them the incentive to act quickly. Informing your customers. As mentioned, we created a template you may want to use, and you can find this on our website. We have letters indicating the sunset for both AT&T and Verizon, and this is where you're going to want to begin those time-sensitive offers. Depending on the number of radios you need to upgrade and the amount of resources that you have for scheduling, of course, and servicing, you may want to divide your customer base into 2 or more groups in order to reach out to them in a more manageable period of time. If you have a large number of responses, you want to be able to address them quickly because you've created that sense of urgency in your messaging to make sure that they take care of this technology upgrade. So moving on to the tiers. Initially for tier 1, you're going to want to assemble a letter. The suggestions for content, as you saw on the last slide, are located on our website. Ultimately, you need to decide what to charge, but as an example, you might charge a deeper discount between now and, let's say, the end of the year, just for example's sake, that you'll come out and upgrade the system for $99. After that time, the price would go to $149. So that type of pricing, that's of course referring to the residential for that type of pricing, but basically you determine what these numbers are that make sense for your company, for your budgets, and for your costs that are associated with the upgrade. This is just an example, but that's part of the tier 1, just getting the message out, offering that incentive, entice the end users to act quickly so that you can accomplish transitioning as many as possible with your tier 1 approach. You may want to utilize this particular message more than once to keep your message earlier on. It can be a little bit softer, but then you're going to see that the urgency is going to pick up as time goes on. For tier 2, that's going to be implemented as the sunset starts drawing closer. After the expiration date for the first notification, you're going to plan for your second message. And this second or third, it could be the third round of notices. If you've done the first tier twice, this could actually be your third round of notices that are going out. Unfortunately, we've learned, I'm sure you've learned, but we know that it's going to take a number of communications with your customer to capture their attention, to upgrade as many as possible for the sunset. Just know that this is going to be a multi-phase process here. Though you're providing those incentives, like here you see upgrade for $129, later cost could be $149. Those numbers could be, you know, $149 and $199. All of that is up to you. But though you're providing the incentives, it doesn't mean you necessarily have to raise your price. It just provides a path or an option to increase the price, because of your cost that may be increasing. The whole idea behind this is just to create that sense of urgency. Tier 3, this is as we're getting even closer and you're really needing to get those sunset, the upgrades done before the sunset. As the sunset draws closer, your messaging is going to have to become more urgent in nature. Again, the timing for this type of message is going to depend on the number of radios that you still have to upgrade as time goes on. So if you've got a more manageable number, this type of notification may not need to go out until the last 60 or 90 days. But if you still have a fairly large number that need to be upgraded, you might implement something like this in the last 4 to 6 months, something like that. One of the things to keep in mind here is that carriers, there are dates that are associated with the sunsets for both AT&T and Verizon. It doesn't mean that those are the actual dates that are going to be hit, because we do see that on occasion that there are, the network can be harvested by the carriers prior to those sunset dates. So you could see units go offline prior to that, which is going to cause you to initiate a service call. But it's just something to keep in mind, that another reason why you want to do as many as you can, as early as you can, just because we'll see that harvesting happen as those dates draw closer. The tier 3, this could be a message that you end up sending out. Maybe it's every 30 days in the last 90 days, just to make sure that you're creating that sense of urgency with your customer. Then as we move to tier 4, this is the final resort, and certainly it's not the ideal resort, but we know that there's going to be a percentage of your customers that are going to fall into this category. It's going to be unavoidable. At this point, your message is that the critical communication path has been disrupted and a service call will be necessary to be scheduled in order to reestablish communications. It's like we said here, it's the catch-all, it's the last resort. It's not the ideal position to be in. Just be prepared for it. Just know after those sunset dates and with the radios that you still know that you have online, you'll just need to be prepared that you may have service calls that you need to schedule at that point in time. So we want to do our part in helping. We know that there are costs associated. We want to help with trying to help offset some of those that extend to you and extend it onto your customer. So for Telguard's part in this, we are extending product discounts throughout the sunset for the TG1 Express. As you see here, it's a buy 3, get 1 free. And even if it's not advertised, even if you don't see it with your distribution partners, this is something that you can take advantage of. You can ask your participating distribution partners about this particular special, and it's just running in the background. And we're going to do this throughout the sunset to help support you. This particular special it's not just there for replacing Telguard radios. If you're replacing any radio, you can take advantage of this. In addition, if you're replacing a POTS line, you can also take advantage of this. So the buy 3, get one free is there for you to take advantage of throughout the sunset. We also want to point out the opportunity for upselling your customers who are not currently using any type of remote services. As long as it's an option to use contact ID and available zone on your panel, you can add the remote arm, disarm notifications at an affordable service rate to your customers. There's more details on that on our website, so that's something that you can look up. But what I wanted to mention to you today is that you can upgrade, you can add this remote arm disarm solution, and we will offer that to you. That's the Home Control Flex. We will offer that to you for the first 3 months at no charge. What we see most dealers charging for this particular service is around $4 to $5 per month. So there's an additional means of recurring revenue for your customer, or for you, I'm sorry, for you. And then we will not charge you for the first 3 months, and then it's a couple of dollars per month after that. Additional cost savings opportunities are for your commercial systems. We've designed here, it's an economical board. It's the TG7 UBL kit or board. It's for upgrading any of the TG7 series products. So you see the TG7 FS, TG7 here, and you can upgrade those products more affordably. The UBL is an upgrade board to transition to LTE. In addition, you'll be able to take advantage of promotional discounts throughout the sunset period. You'll see this on occasion. It may not be on sale or promoted with your distributor every month, but certainly you can take advantage of it. It's a more cost-effective solution, and it's easier to just upgrade the board, so it reduces your service calls as well. And then here's another cost-saving opportunity, and this is a sneak preview. What we want to share with you today is that Telguard is going to be introducing later this fall the TG7FP. Now the FP is a model that's a more economical fire communicator. It's in a plastic enclosure. It's designed with light commercial and small business customers in mind. You'll still use the TG7FS on customers that you're using that with today, but if you have light commercial or small business customers that you would like to add a sole path communicator, this will be an option for you. It will be able to use the power from the panel. You'll see more on this product, more to come. That's basically all that I have to share today, but you will see this in distribution later on this fall. As I mentioned, we have several upcoming promotions on the products that you see here, and you're going to be able to take advantage of those. They're currently running some of them and upcoming promotions for those. If you are replacing a Telguard, or if you're replacing a competitive product and you have questions about which product to select, then we really want you to reach out to the Telguard sales team to assist you with selecting the correct products. As the alarm communication experts, it's what we're here to do. We encourage you to use our team as a resource and answer your questions. We enjoy talking with our customers. We want to be here to help you, so make sure you're utilizing us as a resource and an extension of your team. As I mentioned, we had several resources that are available to you. Here to the right of the screen, you can see this is where you can go to find out if your, or this is on our web portal, and you can find out if your customer's radio is already an LTE or if it's a radio that needs to be upgraded. So you can see there that you can put the serial number in that bar, and it will indicate whether you need to upgrade the radio or if it's already an LTE solution. And then here on the left, you can see some other resources here. There's a great webinar hosted by Daniel Rosales that outlines the 5 steps to a successful sunset strategy. So please take a look at that as well. We have our YouTube channel with a number of training videos. You'll constantly see new things that are added there. These are available for you and your team that you can view as time permits. We have some more detailed trainings. We have some shorter trainings, but just information there that you should really take advantage of, things that help you as you're, when you want to self-manage or when you want to take a look and find out some additional information. There's some great resources here. Also provided on our website, this is contact information, and you can scroll over wherever you are in the country and you can find who your contact information or who your contact person is that you need to reach out to. I can't say this enough. I really want to encourage you, reach out to our team with any questions that you have. There's a lot of information here that they can provide. They're a great resource for you, and we want to provide all of the support that we can to help you successfully make this transition. This is something that is so important to your customer. It is that critical information. This is life safety, and it's critical to your customer. It's very important to you. It's very important to Telgard. So please do not hesitate to call, and don't hesitate to reach out to us with anything that we could possibly do for you. And with that, I'll turn this back to Scott and let us know if you have any questions that we can address. If we don't have those answers for you today, and we don't have it for you right here and now, we will research and we'll get back to you. Scott, do we have any questions from the audience?
Hi, thanks, Mel. Great job with the presentation. We do have a couple questions. And just a reminder to everyone on the call, if you have a question, there is a questions section of your webinar platform. Just type your question in there and we'll get to it. First question, can you remind everyone, Mel, what the sunset dates are? Each technology sunset?
Yes, for February of 2022 is AT&T, and the end of the year is for Verizon. That information is also available at our website. We have that section that's dedicated strictly to the sunsets. So any updates or anything like that for dates are going to be available on that portion of our website as well.
Excellent. All righty. And then can you tell us a little more about the 2G sunset that's going on in Canada, what network that is? And
that's for Rogers, and that sunset is coming up for March of next year. So that's, again, we are supporting that with the discounts. We don't have 2G radios. We entered Canada with strictly the 3G radios. So if it's a Telgard radio, it's likely that it is already the more current technology, but it's the 2G that's being sunset there.
Great. All righty. Let's see. Next question we have is, are any Telgard communicators made in the USA?
Yes, we have the TG7FS is a product that's made right here in the USA. It's our flagship product for fire systems, and it's made in Mississippi.
Excellent. All righty. Let's see. So what's the best way to reach out to the sales team?
If you go to that contact page on our website, then you can reach out to, that map is interactive and you can scroll over that. Let's see if I can back this up. So you can scroll over this map and then it will bring up the salesperson for your area. So you can see who it is that you need to reach out to.
Excellent. All right. What recommendations do you have for when dealers should start their tiers, their outreach for their tiered program?
I would recommend, based on the number that you have, I would recommend starting now. Earlier is always better to go ahead and accomplish, and if you could accomplish 100%, that would be great. 90% is still great. But if you go ahead and start now, specifically with those service calls, just go ahead and make that part of your process. That is the number one, the first recommendation. But the tiered approach, you want to start planning for it. It will take you a little bit of time to plan for it and to lay out the plan for which customers you're going to contact and when. But I would recommend that you start sooner rather than later.
Excellent. Alrighty. Double check and see. I think that's all the questions we have for now. All right, so looks like another question just came in. Let's see, here's a question: will the TG-PIM module be integrated into the TG7FS in the future?
It will in the future. Currently, today, the TG-PIM is a module that you add to the TG7FS. It gives you the ability to add zones, additional zones to the TG7FS, but it also gives you the ability to power off of the panel. So currently, it would be the TG7FS bundled with the PIM, and then later it will become part of the TG7FS.
Thank you. All righty. See, next question we have is, does Telguard outsource its tech support to places like India or other countries, or is it located in the US?
No, absolutely not. Our tech support is in we're in Atlanta, Georgia, and all of our tech support team works from our office in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And we always receive high marks for our tech support. I can't say enough good things about our tech support and customer service teams, as well as our sales teams. But our tech support, we have typically, it's record times with being able to get somebody on the line and live when you need them. When you're out on the site, we know how important that is. It keeps your costs down, not to have to sit on the phone and wait 25, 30 minutes for a technician. Usually we have somebody online in just seconds for you.
Excellent. All right. Okay, do you have any technical support for Spanish or French speaking customers?
Oh, absolutely, for both. It's so critical to our business with our dealer partners. So yes, we have both available.
Excellent. All righty. All right, I think that's all the questions we have. Mel, thank you again for all the great information that you shared with us today. For everyone on the call, sorry, it looks like another question just came in. Says, when will Minnesota have a dedicated sales rep?
That's something that we're working on, but certainly if you have any questions or if you have any needs, feel free to reach out to me. But our team, everyone, we all back each other up. So if you call into our sales number, our 800 number, and you choose option 5, someone is going to take that call, and so it doesn't matter as far as having a specific sales rep. Someone is there to take the call and will be able to address your questions. But feel free to reach out to me as well.
Great. All righty. All right, I think that's all the questions that we have. Thanks again for everyone that joined our webinar today. If you missed it, or if you'd like to share this webinar with a coworker, we will upload this video to our YouTube channel later this afternoon, or sorry, later this week. So if you missed it, just check us out on YouTube to review this webinar or the previous webinar we did for the 5 steps to a successful 2G, 3G, or CDMA sunset strategy. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.